Hello everyone, this is Sean with MTG Mafia. Just wanted to talk to you guys about goblins in this video, but wanted to let you guys know that I'll be posting an article to the website, so you can go check that out, mtgmafia.com. It should be posted shortly after this video goes up, and it explains just a commentary on why we think Legacy is a worthwhile format to play, my opinions on how it compares to Modern and Standard and stuff like that. And then you can also check out the website. A lot of the pieces that you're going to see in this deck are going on sale. We have Goblin stuff on sale this week. You know, if you watch this video late, we might have something else. We do a weekly special every week, so check it out. Alright guys, hello, this is Sean with MTG Mafia. We are talking about Legacy a lot this week, and so I'm hanging out with my buddy Steve, and we've been playing some Goblins, and I just love this deck. I thought I would do a deck tech on it and just show it to you guys as a cool choice for Legacy if you are not sure what to play. So the deck runs a playset of Aether Vial, which is a 1-drop artifact. You can add a counter on your upkeep. Then you can tap Aether Vial and put a creature with converted mana cost equal to the number of counters on it into play. Basically, it makes your guys uncounterable. You can sneak them in at instant speed, and it's quite the weapon. Then you have a whole bunch of goblins in this deck. You have Goblin Lackey as a 4-of. He's a 1-drop 1/1. When he deals damage, you can put a goblin from your hand into play. So he allows you to go on turn 2, put like a 5-drop like Siege Gang Commander or something crazy like that into play. There's a lot of other good options for you, but that's one of your choices. So he's really powerful. Good. These are your 2 turn 1. This is what you hope to open in your opening hand, is one of these 2 cards. And then there's multiple Goblin decks. You can play white, green, or black, but this is the white build that Steve's chosen, and it runs 3 Thalia and just a couple plateaus and a plains in the main. Now this is a clifftop retreat that you see here, but at our local setup you can run a couple of proxies. So Steve is running that one clifftop over just not having the plateau yet. So that's what that is. But yeah, I cast Thalia, and of course we all know how good she is in Legacy when you are playing a deck like Rug Delver that wants to cast everything on very little mana and just be very efficient. It slows it down and makes it sluggish by making it pay 1 more. And then we have Goblin Piledriver as a 3-of. Some lists run 4. We were talking about this. He said, you know, I'd probably run 4 if I had the choice. But what he is he's a 1/2. He has protection from blue. Whenever he attacks, he gets +2/+0 for each other attacking goblin. So there's a lot of times where this guy swings for just absolutely stupid amounts of damage. When you swing with like 10 other goblins, he's a 21/2 with pro blue. So pretty good, and he evades quite a few creatures. And then Goblin War Chief as a 4-of. Your goblin spells cost 1 less to play, and all your goblins have haste, so you can bring him in with a whole bunch of tokens and swing for a bunch. Goblin Matron is a demonic tutor basically for the goblin deck. It is a 1/1 for 3, and when it enters play you can go search for any goblin. So this works really well. You can get some interactions with like your Goblin Lackey. You bring it in, and you get the trigger when it deals damage to bring in Matron, and then you go tutor for whatever utility card that you need. We'll talk about the utility cards in a sec. This next one as a 4-of, it gives the mono red deck, or maybe in this case red-white, almost more card advantage than most decks in Legacy. It's Goblin Ring Leader. He's a 4-drop 2/2 with haste. When he enters the battlefield, you reveal the top 4 cards. You put all goblins revealed this way into your hand, the rest of the cards on the bottom. So there's times where you get a 2/2 with haste and you draw 4 cards, which is slightly better than Bloodbraid Elf even in this situation. And then Warren Instigator. This guy he's interesting. He's in some builds and he's not in others. He's really fragile. He's a 1/1 with double strike for 2 red. But when he does connect, he's really busted. You're getting 2 triggers of Goblin Lackey essentially, where you get to put a goblin from your hand into play. That means if you have Goblin Matron in your hand and you connect with a Warren Instigator, you get to put Matron in, then resolve your second trigger with whatever you tutored for. So let's look over here. This is a removal spell for the Goblin deck. Gem Palm Incinerator. You cycle it for 1 and a red. It deals X damage to target creature, where X is the number of goblins in play. So that's powerful, and that does include your opponent's goblins if you happen to be playing a mirror match, in case that is relevant. And then talking about all the cool things that this deck can do, all the cool one-ofs that it can go tutor for. You have Kiki-Jiki, which you can copy anything that you need to copy. If you want to, if you have like a Sting Scourger, and Sting Scourger is 1 and a red to bounce target creature back to its owner's hand, and you can Kiki-Jiki and just keep bouncing stuff to their hand. Steve and I just played a game earlier tonight where Siege Gang Commander was on the field, and he had a bunch of mana open, and he viled into Kiki-Jiki. I had him at 1, but I just couldn't kill him because he had too many guys and just kept shooting my dudes down and blocking with his little chump blockers, and eventually just grinded me out and won. You have Mog War Marshal, which is kind of like if you need some chump blockers in a hurry as a 2-drop. He comes in, he adds a 1/1 token, and when he dies he also adds a 1/1 goblin. So pretty good just for chump blocking. Goblin Sharpshooter, really good against like Lingering Soul decks and stuff like that. He deals a damage to a creature whenever a creature dies, he untaps. And then you have Krenko, which Krenko's out of M13. You put X 1/1 red goblins into play, where X is the number of goblins you control, and this deck can get really out of control with the number of dudes you can have in play. So you can really add a ton of guys, and if you combo it with Goblin Chieftain, they all have haste and +1/1. So Steve has definitely blasted me for stupid amounts of damage with Chieftain and Krenko combined. And it's funny, when this card came out, I was saying that I didn't think it was that good, and I felt like Goblins was already going to win if you were at the point where you were casting or getting Krenko, and it didn't make sense to me. I was like, I don't think it makes that much of a difference, but I was really wrong. Card is really good and is definitely worth a slot in your deck. And then Tuk Tuk Scrapper is a 4-drop. Out of World Wake, he blows up an artifact equal to the artifacts equal to the number of allies you control. But he is also a goblin, and so yeah, that's your kind of your utility package. And then you've just got all your dudes that just give you value and beat for a lot. So you bring in all these guys that hit really hard, and you keep just cheating in value and gaining card advantage with your matrons, your Vile, your Lackey. You've got your matrons and your ringleaders all getting you card advantage, plus your Warren Instigators, and your Gem Palm is a removal spell that draws you a card, and then you go find whatever piece that you need to kill your opponent. And yeah, that's the deck in a nutshell. As far as mana base, you're looking at 7 mountains, 2 plateaus. Like I said, that cliff top is a plateau proxy. 1 plains if you're fighting Wasteland and you need to get a Thalia on the board. And 3 Arid Mesa to go fetch that land that you need. 4 Caverns, which this is one of the most powerful pieces of this deck, is that it makes sure its guys are uncountable, whether by Vile or Lackey, Warren Instigator, or Cavern of Souls. And then you have Wasteland to beat up your opponent and wreck his lands. That's really good with Thalia as well. And you can run some versions of this deck that run Rished Import, so you can tap your opponent's lands on top of Wastelanding them. So that's the deck. Comment, see what you think, and we'll be back next week, hopefully with another deck to show you. Thanks for watching.